With comics retail, there's a lot of things, a lot of decisions that we're making and a lot of the things that we're looking at in essentially the next 10 years of Challengers is less about the day-to-day survival and more about what do the next 10 years look like and what do the 10 years after that look like, not just for Challengers, but for you and me.
Well, you.
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting, comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the Challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers. And now, here are Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
When we were setting up for Shy Tag that Friday, with all the work we did very early in the morning, I hit my daily step goal by 12:30.
Yeah.
Today I hit it before noon.
Wow.
And I got up at 8:30. And I am exhausted. I have been exerting a lot of physical activity the last couple days, all work-related.
Cool.
Each and every one, and I can't help but feel that they're not working out, and I'm unhappy with everything. And then I realized that's just a normal day.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty standard for you.
So, to recap, and this is a recap for you, it's brand new for the listener, the person or family listening to episode number 400
Wow.
of Contest of Challengers, a sometimes mostly comics industry business podcast on the Yak Channel Podcast Network here in Chicago. And I had big plans for episode 400. This isn't them.
Yay.
That's what happens when you have big plans. They don't necessarily always come through.
I seem to recall a similar thing happening around 300.
Oh, yeah.
Where there were grand plans,
Yeah.
and then there was no plans.
Same thing.
Okay, cool.
I mean, I don't know. People's schedules, you know?
Sure, okay.
What can you do?
Me? Nothing.
Especially since you have no idea what those plans were, because I didn't tell you.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think you care.
Short answer, no.
Yeah.
Long answer, I mean, if I was asked to participate, or if I needed to do something, I would have helped out.
Oh, of course you would have. Yeah, no doubt. No, absolutely no thoughts against that whatsoever. And you may have been asked to help out, but you didn't have to be, because it didn't happen.
Cool, dude.
What a fun podcast. Let's talk about all the things we've never done that'll never happen. Grant Morrison. Tom King.
Made a living wage.
Oh, you're talking fantasy now.
Oh, so fast we got to that.
Spoiler alert, that was coming up anyway.
Okay, cool.
Regular shoppers of the physical Challengers location may recall that 5 years ago, a little less than that, a vape shop moved into the strip mall. Not strip mall, but the building that we're part of.
Sure.
And then 3 years ago, they went away. They've been gone for over 3 years. They weren't even in that spot for 2 years. After 3 years, we figure statute of limitations is up. Anything left in that building is ours.
Yeah, it's abandoned property at that point, as far as we're concerned. Probably not as far as the law is concerned, but who cares?
I mean, they'd already left a ton of crap, and I do mean crap, in the garage that they stole from us, that we now legally have back.
Yay.
And it was just a few months ago that stuff mysteriously vanished. And I don't mean vanished as in someone put it to good use. I mean it was all garbage. So I'm assuming it was all disposed of.
I would hope.
I mean, I can't say exactly where it went, because I have no idea.
Nope.
I just know that it's gone, and it made the garage a little bit nicer.
Yeah, luckily.
A garage that I was the only person to ever clean it out.
Yeah.
So they had these two, not flat files, not file cabinets, horizontal file cabinets. Does that make sense? How would you describe them?
I mean filing cabinets, but yeah, they were horizontal.
Yeah.
Basically, like it was, instead of this sort of pull-out drawer and you're going, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 back in a row, you would pull it out and then 1 through 100 are working left to right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's let's say 3 feet wide, 28 inches high, and who cares how many inches deep?
Like maybe 10 inches deep, 10 or 12 inches deep.
Yeah, that's fine.
Probably 12 inches deep because it's got to be 8.5 by 11, sort of for the interior drawer.
Poking around in the drawers itself, as I'm wanting to do in rooms I have access to that I'm not supposed to be in, I couldn't help but notice that you could fit comics in there.
You can. Other stores have done that, I think.
Yeah.
They've used precisely those pieces of cabinetry to store comics in.
And then I realized you could fit basically four short boxes per drawer. Now, each of these units has just 2 drawers.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the equivalent of 8 short boxes. In fact, it's the equivalent of 10 short boxes because they're deeper than one short box. You can't fit the physical box in, but the contents.
The equivalent amount of comics you
Yeah,
can fit.
and honestly, because we don't board our back issues, that works in our favor as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because these drawers are not that high. High enough, they're great for single comics, but not necessarily for boxes or whatever. So I did some measuring and realized that this soda cooler that we have, that we tried to get rid of years ago, and Coke just abandoned.
Right.
There's a lot of abandoned props in this story.
True.
That we'd had back on the sales floor. Like, if we took that away, we could fit these 2 cabinets there. That's kind of cool. It's right at the end of our back issues. That's a good spot, right?
Sure. I think so.
Now, there was only one flaw with these cabinets. Dal, what was that flaw?
It's beige.
They were beige.
Yeah, kind of ugly
They
industrial
were beige. By the way, this episode of the podcast is terribly incriminating, but I don't think that anybody who cares is listening.
No.
And if they are, oh well. Prove it. No, I mean prove you're listening. So, we'll paint them.
Sure.
Right.
That's what we do.
Yeah, you can't buy spray paint in the city. Fine, I'm in the suburbs every week visiting my family. Family was the word I just tried to say. So I stopped and bought a ton of spray paint and a bunch of clear coat, and was going to set up a little paint station in the garage where it could air out. And Dal said,
Why don't you just paint them in the abandoned storefront? I mean, they're already there and no one's in there. Why move them around?
So Tuesday, after we unpacked our delivery, Tuesday, when we got our books on Tuesday, not Monday or nothing,
Nope, Tuesday.
Tuesday, I was trying to say it that way to make it sound like we actually got them on Monday and we're
Nope.
just trying to cover it up. No, we got them Tuesday.
We got them on Tuesday.
I took all the empty boxes, cut them down to flat cardboard, taped them up to the wall to make a little, nice area of protection.
Sure.
Realized that painter's tape wouldn't work. I had to use duct tape. Fine. And then I put them all over the floor. Then I doubled them up on the floor so there's not as much exposure to the floor. And I began the process of spray painting these 2 cabinets. And boy, is there no ventilation there.
No. Just a back room of a store.
Yeah. And I kept the door closed because I didn't want it to get to our store.
Mm-hmm.
It still did. And boy, did it get into the lobby. Oh, man, I went out through the lobby last night. This morning. This morning, and I could still smell it.
Oof.
So it's many coats, and there's moving parts, and the drawers, and the little nooks and crannies and whatnot. And over a 3-day period, I painted them numerous coats, and some reaction happened in some places where it just bubbled up and cracked like it was all stone. Just the paint, not the material. And I cleaned them all off first, and there was some sticker stuff I couldn't get off even with Gooby Gone, so I just painted over them.
Sure.
There's no good lighting. There's just one single spotlight in the back of that room,
Uh-huh.
and this has been a very gray week,
Yeah.
so I wasn't sure how they would look.
Uh-huh.
They looked fine.
That's good.
I did miss the inside of the it's hard to describe. When you pull open a drawer, the side that's like that wide on the bottom 2, don't care.
Okay.
And then I'm like, what is this little, is this a little bubble? Oh, it's a piece of tape. Oh, now there's a little beige strip right there that I didn't notice until they were set up in the store.
Neat.
So emptied the cooler, moved it aside, vacuumed all the horrible spider webs and things behind it,
Sure.
put those things on carts, rolled them over, set the first one up, pushed the $5 graphic novel shelf over by like half an inch
Uh-huh.
to make sure it fit. Great. Perfect. Plenty of room. Looks great.
Sure.
Got the second one, little harder. Got it up on top of it. The top shelf, kind of high.
Uh-huh.
Set it up. Looks great. And I thought, that's enough. That's enough work on these. I've been killing myself for these. I also worked all day Thursday by myself and did a ton of shit around the store. And like, that's enough. I'll wait until Dal sees them, then we can decide to move forward.
Uh-huh.
Because our plan is, in our back hallway, not even in the store, we have a bunch of back issues we have yet to file.
Right.
They were in order, they're not in order anymore, but they're bagged and priced at 99 cents. So we thought we could make these two new racks like a holding area.
Yeah, like basically new back issues would go in there, and then eventually they would migrate out of there into the alphabetical boxes.
And also, we have a storage locker full of stuff that could slowly be brought over and put in those bins. But then, as we got to the end of the day, around 5:30, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to fill them. What does it matter? I'm going to fill them.
Sure.
So that's when I found out that there is room for 4 rows and a half.
Okay.
Like, there's this much extra space in the shelf.
Sure.
So I just spread everything out more.
Okay.
We don't have any...
I would like to put in there, if we can devise something, some sort of barrier between the rows.
Yeah, right now it's just folded up cardboard flats.
Sure.
Just to
To
definitely...
space it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Here is where we run into a problem.
Okay.
There's a lot of weight in those drawers.
Yep.
Fine. They're made for paper and stuff, right?
Sure.
No big deal. They don't slide out super easy, but they're not difficult.
Okay.
They're fine.
Sure.
The bottom two. The top shelf.
Uh-huh. Tilts.
Oh my god, does it tilt.
Okay.
Like,
That's not good.
will kill you if it tilts.
That's bad.
So, we have 4 half boxes of boards, of used boards,
Uh-huh.
that we've just been storing.
Sure.
So I'm like, great, I'll put those on the top shelf,
Uh-huh.
weight it down. Didn't work. You pull the bottom shelf
Uh-huh.
of the top unit out,
Uh-huh.
it's fine. You put some pressure on it, it tips.
That's not good.
For the bottom unit,
Uh-huh.
if you pull out one drawer, great. No problem whatsoever.
Uh-huh.
You try to pull out the second drawer at the same time, you tip the whole thing.
Oof.
Now, who would pull out 2 drawers at the same time? Anybody would.
Anybody. You gotta assume it's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
So, I took everything out of the top one.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, though, we only have enough stuff in the back hallway for 3 spots in the bottom drawer of the top unit.
Okay.
So we had the full empty drawer. Like, I'm assuming if we could fill up the top drawer with back issues and the bottom drawer, that'd be fine until you... actually, it should be fine if we fill it entirely. We don't have enough stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I emptied it, so it's empty right now.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what to do.
Sure.
I had a different thought, but shelving is against me.
Uh-huh.
They almost fit perfectly under the front tables.
Okay.
They fit great width-wise
Uh-huh.
and depth-wise.
Uh-huh.
They're about a half an inch too tall.
Oh, that's not good.
And then I thought, well, we could balance the tables on top. We have 3 front tables and only 2 filing
Yeah.
drawer thingies.
Yeah.
That wouldn't work. Plus, I don't like that idea so much.
No.
Donovan said we should just take the second one and put it where we have all the the illustrated half boxes. I don't like that either.
Oh, no. No. Too big.
Now, it's possible that could go in the window shelf, but I don't want to separate back issues or whatever.
No.
So, I have a plan. I don't know if it's worth doing.
Okay.
Bracketing them together.
I mean, that's really the only thing you can do. You have to find some way to
Connect them.
adhere them to one another and then hopefully find some way to weight the back of it, if at all possible, to create a counterbalance for when people inevitably pull out every drawer.
Yeah.
Which they will.
We
They
could put signs
absolutely
on it
will.
that says, please don't open more
matter.
than one drawer. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So, first of all, we don't have the brackets.
No.
I checked, we have plenty of L-shaped brackets. We need just flat brackets.
Right.
And to do it, I need to take everything out, including the drawers.
Yeah.
And I don't want to.
I know.
So much work.
I can only imagine.
I wonder how stores have done this in the past. And I think that maybe they use units that are 4 shelves high, not 2 and 2.
Maybe. I
think I've seen pictures that way.
Some of it is just general physics. Like, it's, there's too much stuff, and when you pull the drawers out, like, it's going to tilt, so you have to do something that creates a structure that can't easily sway or tilt or anything like that. And that just means, we learned it with the drawer boxes that we have for the back issues. Like, we eventually reached a point where we're like, these have to be connected together.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't, they're going to move around a little bit over time, but eventually a lot. And that means that it's going to be unstable as a structure.
Another thought I had would have been to disassemble the back issues and put the red shelves next to each other, and then put the boxes back up, build it around it.
Oh.
But that breaks up the flow of the back issues and defeats the purpose of having a holding area.
Sure.
I guess this just means I have to...
I'd love it if we could... If the width of the back issues was those two structures wide.
Yeah.
So we could just make that the base and then build on top of that. But
that's 6 feet.
Yeah, it's not nearly enough space.
Yeah. I'll have to go to Home Depot and find what the appropriate brackets are.
Sure.
But we'll be having to put the bracket on the exterior, putting the bolts from the interior to the outside, so the heads will rest flat and not interfere with the function of the drawers.
Sure.
But that means I assume this is just to the back, we're going to have nuts and bolts sticking out.
Sure, but on the back.
Yeah, no one sees it, but it's still unsightly.
It's only unsightly if someone sees it. No one sees it, so it's as long as
Well-
it's effective, I could care less how it looks on the back.
The easiest way to do it would be to do it along the sides on the bottom, but A, I can only get to one side, B, totally visible.
Yeah, that's not great. Well, I'm sorry that it was not ready to go.
I know, right? And plus, they're metal, so those books slide all over the place.
Sure. Well, now that we've got a little time, what I'd like to do is maybe head over to Office Depot or one of those places that carries file cabinets, and I'm sure they have brackets that you can drop in. Basically, something that creates divisions for your file
Files.
folders.
Yeah.
And then we can just drop that in and go, okay, we need 3 of those.
I wonder if they, in fact, have bracketed machinery parts to hold the units together.
Maybe.
These have locks on them, but there were no keys, so I just spray painted over them. And there was nothing visible on the exterior that would make it to where you could link it to another unit.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Boy, was that a ton of work.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember what else I did, but it's all a blur.
I'm sure.
There were so many things I wanted to get done, I had a task list. And I don't usually have a task list for me because I know what needs to be done.
Sure. But you'll forget.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of little
Yeah.
things, and you're like, I got to remember to do all of those little
I mean,
things.
like, my task list was for Thursday and Friday. We got everything on it done except second clear coat, because if I did a second clear coat, we wouldn't be moving these in until tomorrow.
Right.
So, yeah. Yeah. Donovan, who is still sick, by the way,
Aw.
was great today. A lot of help.
Well, great.
Yep. I feel like I want to follow up a little bit on last week's episode,
I'm sure.
where we talked about jackass of a retailer who helped take Mondays away from us. When we told the story anonymously on the podcast, we obviously didn't mention any names, which is, of course, what anonymously means. We had some retailers message us saying, hey, is it this person? And they were right.
Yeah. Just
And-
from our description of the events, not
Yeah.
even the person.
And then we had another retailer be like, yeah, here's what that guy did to me.
Pretty common, apparently.
Yep. So great.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody.
Good to know that at least he's consistent.
I guess.
My goodness. I felt like I had a lot more to say about that, but it just went away. I'm tired.
I can hear it.
I'm just tired.
Sure.
I don't want to be angry at that person. I mean, I am,
Sure.
but, you know. And I didn't hold to my, I'm not going to help anybody ever again on Facebook.
You can't help yourself.
I posted, like, people had questions in retailer forums this week that I had the answers to, so I answered. I just won't make a post.
Sure.
Oh, God, there were so many things I wanted to say, now they're gone. Because I'm tired.
Yeah.
Knowing that we'd be recording tonight, and tonight is the end of the month, I did just enough of the end of the month paperwork to have some numbers.
Yeah.
A number, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And it's not good.
Nope.
Those of you not in Chicago, I'm sure you have your own weather to deal with. Hell, those of you in Anchorage had an earthquake today.
Yeah.
And I checked in.
Magnitude 7, I think.
I checked in with the people that I know there, like Sketch David Harper. He's fine. He actually had a neat photo that he said he knows exactly when the earthquake started because his parents took a picture of a clock that fell off the wall and stopped at that time.
Oh.
And Jamie Lamb from Lago is good. Or I guess from Orzo. Is that what it's called, Orzo?
Mm.
But we had snow in Chicago last Sunday, and that killed the week. Now,
it helped kill the week.
yeah, the week was, the last couple weeks weren't great.
This last week was terrible, but it wasn't just terrible because of the weather. Like, there were a few circumstances that conspired to make sure the week was... Sunday, Monday, Tuesday was unbelievably bad. Our Sunday was half to a third of what we normally do on a Sunday, and it's just like, all right, well, Sunday after Thanksgiving, maybe people are getting back into town or busy on the holiday weekend or whatever. These things happen. It's fine. It's probably just an aberration. And then Monday was insanely slow, anywhere between half to 90% less than what we would normally do on a Monday. And it's like, wow, that is bad. That's not great.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday missed being our worst day ever by like $10, maybe?
Yeah. We didn't even do $100 on Tuesday.
Yeah. Tuesday,
do you know
I
how
want to
long
say
it's been since that happened?
Was it 5 buyers? It was like a single-digit number.
I think it was 7.
Yeah, it was insanely low. Like, we might as well have been closed. It wasn't worth being open.
Well, it is because you and I both have work to do on Tuesdays.
Right, and on top of that, if you're closed, you make $0.
Right.
And it's not like you and I are getting paid hourly, so you might as well be open.
Yeah.
But it still was so demoralizing. Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, those are 3 days I was working, all 3 of them, that by Tuesday night, it was just like, I want this week to be over. I just want it to be done and forgotten about, because it is, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but for me, the busier we are, the better I feel. The less tired I am, the more engaged I am, the more people who come in, the more stuff I'm dealing with, the faster the day goes, the better the day is. When no one comes in, I am exhausted. Each hour is like running a marathon. I can't believe no one's coming in. I can't believe there is no one to help or ring up or talk to or engage in any way. I'm just sitting here in an empty store for hours at a time. Like, by the end of the day, I am tired, I am angry, I am depressed, I am sleepy. Like, everything about the day is a trial. So, like, 3 of those days in a row was... Yeah, it was...
Just sucks out your will to live.
It was like, maybe we just burn it all down. Like, I only feel that way when no one comes in, not when it's like super busy and I'm like, oh my god, I'm getting killed this week. No, man, I love those days. I feel great at the end of Free Comic Book Day and at the end of, the first few days of the sale and big events where people show up. Like, I'm energized. I feel great. Yeah, days where no one comes in, I want to just crawl into bed at 8 o'clock at night. I just want to be done. And that was 3 days in a row this week.
Yeah.
3 whole days in a row.
Now,
each one literally worse than the day before.
That's true. When we referenced the worst day we ever did, That was in the second month we were open.
Yeah.
To come near that, like, we've had blizzards where we've done better than that.
Oh, yeah. We've had days where the city has basically shut down because of temperature warnings, where with the wind chill, it's like negative 30 degrees, and we've done like $500.
Yeah.
Like, not a stellar day, but worth being open for.
Yeah.
These were days where it was not that bad outside, but you would never know it from the sales. So the thing that I think was maybe more of a factor than the weather, because the weather wasn't great, and you had said Sunday night when it snowed, like, first snow of the year, everyone in Chicago forgets what to do.
Yeah,
They all freak out.
And we honestly, like, I like it when it comes early. It did this year, it did last year.
Mm-hmm.
But last year it came early, like the first week of December or so, but then not again for like 2 months. So people forgot by the time it happened again, so we got to experience it twice.
Yeah.
Like,
so-
there's always a huge sales drop-off in the first snow. And I'd said, hey, at least it's now where we have a little bit of money in the bank. We're not worried about making bill for next week. And
it happening Sunday night means Monday and Tuesday, which are normally semi-slow days, Tuesday more than Monday. It happening then means if it's going to be slow, it might as well be slow on slow days, not on busy days. You know what I mean?
yeah, I'm always in fear that it happens the week of Christmas. Because we can't afford to lose that week.
Yeah. But the weather wasn't great. The snow, again, first snow of the season, it makes people in Chicago real weird. The bigger problem was a ton of road construction on Western Avenue.
In every direction.
Yeah.
Not just Western.
Well,
Up and down Armitage.
Sure.
Up and over on Damon. Over on...
Western, I think, that was a bigger deal
Oh, yeah, for sure. But
because
like, you
we're
can't...
on Western Avenue.
But if you take a side street to circumvent it, you still run into something
No,
else.
it was everywhere. I mean, it was North Avenue. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
The problem for us specifically was that it was on Western Avenue, and it was at the next north intersection from where our store
A
is.
block up from us.
Is Western and Milwaukee.
Oh, a half block north of us.
And that's usually a sort of busy intersection, and at times a day can back up traffic-wise. But there was basically construction going on at that intersection and then up at Armitage, which is like a few hundred feet north of Western and Milwaukee. So those two put together, and the fact that it was basically taking a 4-lane road down to 2 lanes.
And nobody gets over until the last second,
Right.
even though you know it's coming up.
So basically, Monday and Tuesday, there was bumper-to-bumper traffic from Western and Milwaukee down past Western and North, which is like almost a mile south,
Yeah.
all day, like the entire day. Like, we were open from 11 to 7, and if I looked out the front window, I would see basically parked cars the entire day. It was insane. UPS guys, who will complain, were
have every right to.
were extra complaining about this, shaking their heads at just how long they had to wait in traffic to move up the street to be able to drop off packages.
Don't envy that job, man.
Yeah, so I think that hurt more than anything else. Was just basically like, if you saw that traffic and you were considering going to Challengers, you would say no thanks. You would decide to do it a different day.
I do love that UPS guy. When normal delivery, he'll try to like pull over and either be in a legit parking space or a no parking zone, but to be off the main street to not block anybody.
Yeah, it's not just double park.
These just stopped the car, got out, unloaded.
Double parked.
You got to go around in a minute anyway to change lanes. You may as well do it before him.
Yeah.
Don't blame him at all. And the poor bastard had to come in yesterday and today.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of packages this week.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I saw him
Mhm.
when November was... well, let's jump back. September was an expensive month for front door.
Yes. Front doors.
Front doors, plural, yes. One door replaced numerous times. November, we spent that much amount of money, that same amount of money.
Uh-huh.
Words are good to know. I have the best words. On my car. My car needed to be taken in twice.
Yeah, boy,
now,
expensive month for Patrick's vehicle.
yeah, $2,000 on my car this month.
Oof.
The first time I went in for an oil change, and there were all these other things wrong with it that I said fine, and that just kept escalating and kept me without the car for a while.
Yeah, it's weird to find out that what you think is your front axle is actually 72 rats that are just forming a chain from one tire to the
Yeah,
other.
but when they work in unison, it was great.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's great. It's just, as a long-term strategy, I think most dealerships are going to be like, we should probably put an axle in there.
Yeah, and plus,
instead of a
winter's
series
coming
of
up.
rats.
We don't want the rats to freeze and die.
No.
And then, right after I get it back, my check engine light comes on, and I thought, well, that sucks. Like, that could mean instant bad things. But the sensor in my car said it was just the emission system. So I thought, okay, I can drive on that for a few days because I had important things to do. I had books to pick up. I had Anita Strauss concert to go see.
Yes.
I had Serpent Crown practice.
Yes.
All the way out in Makina. I mean, I needed my car. And it wound up being a thermostat, which on my car, which is a hybrid and with everything involved, was $400. And when he first said thermostat, I thought, oh my God, that's fantastic. Thermostat is like $12. Well, that was when you were replacing a thermostat in your, 1979 Buick.
Yeah, that just tells you how hot it is or whatever.
And they are basically, mostly cardboard. And that if you're lucky enough, it's you unscrew this pipe and put it in. I'm like, oh my God, that's great. That's not how thermostats work for cars anymore.
Yeah.
And also, if a thermostat really goes wrong, you could melt your car.
Yeah. And additionally, it was the sort of thing where it's like a day to figure out what it was and then a day to figure out how to fix it.
It was probably a day to figure
when to fix it.
order the part.
Yeah.
You don't have every car's thermostat in stock.
So this was not just a matter of looked at the car, fixed the car, paid a bunch of money and drove the car away. This was several days of, we'll let you know.
And I love my mechanic. He's trustworthy. He's hardworking. He used to be around the corner from the store, which was a total bonus. He's not anymore. It's not an insurmountable distance away.
Yeah, he's just down the street, so to speak.
Yeah, so this morning I'm like, all right, if I leave by 10 o'clock, I can walk up to get my car, make it back to the store by 11. I got back to the store at 10:57, so my plan was perfect.
Great.
Perfect.
Good work.
I think Jason over at Juan's Auto Works is incredibly trustworthy. He's good at diagnosing cars. He seems to be the only person that works there.
I was going to say, great if maybe understaffed.
Yeah.
Maybe understaffed.
I mean, if I don't waste Jason on little things, but if it's something important, I'll go to him. But I have to make sure I block out my time to say, okay, I'm not going to need, legitimately, I dropped the car off Wednesday morning thinking, so long as I get it back by end of day Saturday, I'm okay.
Uh-huh.
And I got it back Friday morning, so fine.
Yay.
And to be fair, it was ready yesterday afternoon. He closes at 7, we close at 7.
Mm-hmm.
I was working.
Sure.
I didn't have a way to get to it.
I would have filled in.
Yeah, but I mean, you had just been there. I wasn't going to say come back. And
it's not that far. I know how to get to the store.
I didn't need it last night, per se. So
okay.
It's all fine.
Sure.
It's fine. I have the car back. It'll pick up comic books next week. This whole car story was a segue to something that I just lost.
Huh.
I felt it leave my head. I'm like, damn it, I'm talking too long on the car story when it's really just a link to the next store-related thing. Obviously, this is a store-related thing. Car is very important for the store. We need to have a car.
Was it November numbers?
I guess we can get back to those.
Because that's what we
were talking about.
We were, and then you were. It was an expensive month for cars.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I don't care if we do or not.
No, I know. Well, aren't you curious? Don't you want to know?
No, I knew what the numbers were on Monday morning, and they did not get any better Monday, Tuesday,
yes,
or
but
Wednesday.
how did you know what we had to beat?
Because I do that at the end of every week. One of the things
I
do...
No, Dal, the totals sheet didn't have November 17 on it.
Oh, didn't it?
No.
Oh.
You were probably looking at November 16,
I mean,
which is the same mistake I made.
It had a number on it. I don't know.
Right. It had November 16.
Okay.
And so I do the math, and I think, oh, that's not great. Then I realize, oh, wait, no, there's no November 17. So I dig that number out, and it was $150 different for the November 16. So basically, we were a little over $2,500 under last year.
Yeah, and I gotta say it. I mean, a lot of that is the last few days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday sucked. I mean, if I had to ballpark what we were off by what we would normally do, it's probably $2,000. I mean, it's in that ballpark.
I would say 15.
Yeah. I mean, especially...
Some of your Mondays lately have been stellar.
Yeah, Sundays and
but
Mondays...
I don't count that
have not been... Like, I realistically, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday... I mean, 15 to 2 is the range. And then Wednesday, which because Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday were terrible, I'm like, well, Wednesday's got to make up for it. Like, a lot of it is subscribers not coming in for their books. Like, well, they've got to come in Wednesday then. And then most of them didn't come in Wednesday. So it's like the Wednesday number that I thought was going to make up for at least Monday and Tuesday didn't at all. So, like, when you put together Sunday through Wednesday, which were the days I worked so I could know the numbers, I knew we weren't going to make our November goal. I knew it. There was no way Thursday and Friday would do enough to make up for that difference.
Well,
so, yeah.
Thursday wasn't great. It was okay.
It was typical.
It was okay, but it wasn't great. I want to say it's a little better than typical.
Okay.
Friday was good.
Sure.
But full disclosure, Friday had a shit ton of credits from both Donovan and myself.
Sure.
Donovan knocked out a bunch of Christmas present shopping.
Yeah.
By the way, you're getting Star Wars dice game.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very excited about.
I should be surprised.
Okay. Oh my gosh!
Yeah. I mean, when you get it, not right now.
Star Wars dice. So, long story short, a lot of subscribers are probably going to get emails on Sunday saying, hey, you haven't been in a while, and we really need you to come in and get your stuff.
We filed the Christmas cards today, which we did last year on December 1st, and it's a barometer. January 1st, we pulled them out of the boxes to be able to say, here's how many people didn't come in December.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also made me look back for the year. The only months we were down in this year... January, we were down a ton from last year.
Yeah.
Way more than we were down November. June, we were down $800, and then November, $25.
Sure.
But taking those away from our up numbers, we're not up as much as I thought we would be up for the year.
Sure. So I was bringing all that up for a specific reason. I was going to segue into something.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's okay. So bringing up the subscriber thing is specifically because there was an item in the news amongst the comics retail community that you had brought to my attention, and then I read a longer version of it on ICB2, where the Comic Cave in Springfield, Missouri, had a customer of all people launch a GoFundMe for them, asking for $15,000.
$15,000.
And the thing that was interesting about it was specifically the GoFundMe is looking for $15,000 because this store has $10,000 in reserved but unpurchased inventory dating back 7 to 8 months in some cases, and I'm quoting ICV2 here, of subscriber product that has not been picked up. Which is, I mean, a gigantic number.
Yes.
$10,000 is an insane number of stuff that hasn't been picked up. And we always worry this time of year that we're going to get burned on a lot of stuff because this is the time of year where people get busy. They go out of town for Thanksgiving. They have a bunch of stuff they have to do over December.
They have presents to buy for other people.
Yeah, they go out of town for Christmas or for New Year's, and all of a sudden it's like, that's 6 weeks that people have not, quote, had time to go to their comic shop and pick up their books. If you picked up right before Thanksgiving, 6 weeks is still like, goddamn, like, that's been a while. We're piling up stuff. If you already haven't come in for a month, and then you don't come in for 6 weeks, we're looking at, hundreds of dollars worth of product for some people who get a lot of things. So as a store, we are acutely aware of how much subscriber stuff there is and how quickly that can get out of hand and how much you're kind of carrying that for a lot of people. And so, I mean, we take steps. Like, we just did a round of delinquent phone calls and emails and drops, a lot of drops. And we're going to have to do it again because we couldn't do it the last couple weeks because of Thanksgiving. People aren't going to answer their phones or respond to their emails. They're busy.
We could, but we're trying to be nice about it.
Yeah, and honestly, I want to do it in a way where people can pay attention to it. If I'm calling people, on the Sunday after Thanksgiving and they're like, well, I'm in, Nebraska right now, or I'm in New York, or I'm in California, or whatever. like it's not doing any good. They're going to say, okay, I'll do it when I get back into town, and then you're hoping that in a few days when they're back in town, they remember to do it and they have time. So you want to be able to get them at a time where it is reasonable for them to come to the store. So holiday weekends, that kind of thing, it's just not good. So yeah, like this Sunday, we're going to do a round of emails to subscribers who have not been in 6 to 8 weeks minimum. I usually, it's a moving target. It depends on how much stuff somebody has. Somebody who gets a ton of stuff is maybe going to get an email at 6 weeks. Somebody who gets 2 or 3 books maybe is going to get an email at 8 to 10 weeks.
Yeah. A lot of it is space taken up in the boxes.
Yeah, but also there is a sense of how much of a title am I going to have to put back on a shelf? Like, if you get two different titles, you know, I'm probably not going to bug you after 2 months because you have 4 comics on hold. But once it hits 6, it's like, all right, I already can't sell 4 of these.
Yep.
How many more am I going to have to stock up? Each month it's going to be 2 more books I can't sell. So someone like that is inevitably going to get an email, even if it's just 2 titles, to say, you got to come in and pick this stuff up, or let me put it back out and drop you. Like, either one of those at a certain point is fine for me. So the Comic Cave thing is interesting. There was a photo that ICV2 had that kind of put it in perspective a little bit. I don't know if you saw
of the product. Was it the stacks of product?
Yeah, did you see that one?
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that's interesting about it is when you hear something like 10 grand in held product that hasn't been picked up, even when you say
one Captain Kirk captain's chair.
You think one full NECA Batman carrying 4 other NECA Batmans
with one NECA Deadpool.
It's a lot. But like for us, you know, we look at stacks of comics and we look at, you know, maybe graphic novels. Our subscribers are, for our store, I would say 98% comics and graphic novels. And overall, like over 100% of product that we get, I mean, single comics alone are probably 85% of what we carry for our subscribers.
The rarity of somebody asking for a statue. It happens, but it's so few and far between.
I mean, not counting employees who will want, you know, plastic toys and plastic statues and weird stuff, but they're not a risk. I mean, it's employees.
Maybe you nerds.
Yeah.
I don't.
Patrick doesn't. He only gets books about men having adventures, which is totally normal.
Educational adventures.
Yep. Life lessons. So we don't get a lot of subscribers. I mean, to tie it into something else, we got an email from a publisher this week who was like, hey, if you can fill out this quick survey for us, we'd appreciate it. And the survey question was, how many of your subscribers get Previews Magazine?
4.
For us, it's 4. We have 4 people who subscribe to Previews. And then basically, like, what do they do with it? And there were specific options.
Read it on the toilet.
So the options, I wish I could remember the exact phrasing, but it were things like order from, learn about products, I don't know. And we ended up putting, I don't know. And then it was like, do you have any comments? And it was like, yeah, of the 4 people who get Previews Magazine from us, 1 every month fills out a list and emails it to us of what that person wants, like what they're subscribing to. And it's, again, mostly comics and graphic novels, occasionally a statue or
Occasional
something.
statue, yeah.
So for that person, like $4 a month or whatever for Previews is worthwhile because they've got all that information in a hard copy they can look at whenever. They don't have to go on a website and whatever else. They can just sit through and browse through it at their leisure, figure it out, and then get back to us. The other 3 people, one of them every few months will say this thing. But even then, they could be getting that off of our website. They're not ordering anything from Previews normally that isn't something we would email them about or is listed on our website. This month they did.
We got one today.
This month they did. So that's basically 2 people of the 4 this month will have given us something. The other 2 never give us anything. It's insane. The 3rd person of the 4 never gives us anything. The 4th one will every 5 or 6 months give us a gigantic list of ads. And we'll spend the other intervening months saying, I really should put together a new list and give that to you. But that's it. I mean, that's of the 4 previews that we sell to subscribers, and we don't stock it for the shelf because basically on the occasions that we've had an extra one, nobody buys it.
Nobody buys it. Like,
So it's
people
not even
occasionally
worth
want to look
stocking
through
one.
one, but nobody buys it.
Yeah, and I mean, we've let people, like, if we have a store copy that we use to do ordering or to answer questions, and if someone comes in and is like, can I just look through previews real quick? As long as we're not that busy, yeah, sure, go ahead, flip through it.
I want to jump in and say we got a phone call today asking if we had a product that we did get, but only for you. Can you guess what it is?
Only for me.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Well, this part of it was only for you. We still have the other part of it on the shelf and in the back.
I don't know.
Transformer card game boosters.
Oh, yeah. You know, I actually tried to reorder them from Southern Hobby a few weeks ago. They were out of stock.
Hey, speaking of that, did you know that Keyforge already came out?
I'd read some reviews some places, yeah.
Do you know who doesn't carry it?
Us?
Well, you know why we don't carry it?
Soho doesn't?
And
Diamond doesn't?
I
don't know who else we could order
Peach
from.
State.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
None of them have it.
Who, like, they don't have it in stock? Or they
No,
don't
none
stock
of them stock it.
Weird.
It must be. It's a
Must be
Fantasy
a-
Flight Games
A
thing.
publisher
So
only thing?
yeah,
Alright.
yeah. Because I'm like, wait, how did this come out? We don't have it. I was so looking forward to this. Anyway,
So basically we don't have, altogether, we don't have a lot of subscriptions or special orders for non-comic items. So in general, when we have to drop subscribers or when people drop things, it's pretty easy for us to absorb this material because, you know, even a delinquent subscriber who gets, let's say, 10 books a week, who doesn't come in for 3 months, is only going to have about 120 comics. And of that, 40 of those are brand new issues. So it's not that big a deal. Like, it sucks, and it's definitely a hit, but, you know, grand total, you're talking about less than $500 worth of retail product. And a third of that is largely sellable. You know? So a few $100 maybe. And we don't drop, you know, 3 months worth of people who get 40 books a month on a regular basis.
yeah.
Most of our drops, because I'm the one who does this, you're going to get, you know, in a month where you're dropping subscribers, and we do a series of drops, I would say once a month on average, we're going to do a bunch of drops. And that's people who got emails, who got phone calls, who did not make any arrangements to pick up or pay for their books. We try to make it as easy on people as possible, but drops are generally people who do not respond to any of our requests to pick up their stuff, which means they're done. A series of drops is just going to be one big person, somebody who has 30 or 40 books that we've got to shelve. A couple smaller people who have maybe 10 books altogether that have to go back out, maybe 3 or 4 people like that. And then someone who's got like 3 comics that just was getting one series and just never came in for it. So we're not putting back thousands of dollars worth of product every month. We're putting back, you know, a few $100 maybe.
That could be accounted for because A, we stay on top of it, but B, we don't have a lot of club members who get a lot of books. We have a lot of very small lists.
Right, but I guess the thing I'm getting at, or one of the points I want to get at is, that's by design. That's our policies and procedures limiting our exposure on those sorts of situations. We have been burned by hundreds of dollars worth of put back out books enough times that when we see that start to occur because we see the warning signs, we try and get in front of it. We do everything we can to make sure that we don't have thousands of dollars worth of unsold product sitting in boxes or in the back room. When we have people who get statues and stuff, by the time statues start to come out, we don't have anybody who gets like, I want, you know, DC Direct statues every single month. So, I mean, when we see stuff start to get away from people, we get in contact with them. We try and manage the expectations a little bit of like, how is this going to get paid for? How long is this going to be here? What are we doing about this?
Yeah, we do get super nervous when somebody does say, I want all of the statues of this kind, because those people always burn us. 100%.
Yeah, or it creates a situation where, again, we have to be more in communication with them. We have to do a little bit more to make sure that we're not going to be sitting on 3 or 4 statues or whatever.
If you ever see a statue on our shelves and you're like, why do they have that? You'll know why.
Yeah, not always, but generally.
Star Wars artifacts.
Generally.
Plus.
So one thing I do want to get at, and it's, we talk a lot about how things are from a store perspective, but I mean, when it comes to delinquent subscribers and when it comes to things on hold kind of piling up, like I've done this long enough that I know generally the rationalization that a subscriber goes through to get to that point. No one really wants to burn a store. It's not...
Yeah, nobody signs a club agreement saying, I can't wait to stick them with these titles.
It's not... They're not... No one's doing it out of cruelty. They're doing it... A discussion we have with people...
is, what are you about?
When they need to make changes in their life about comics... One thing I'd like to make abundantly clear is that if you need to cancel your subscriptions, if things have changed for you financially where it is not doable for you to subscribe to any comics whatsoever, let alone at your current level, I am totally fine suspending your subscriptions. I don't love putting stuff back out on the shelf, so the sooner I know, the better. But if there is a situation where things are getting away from you and it's causing you anxiety about the stuff that you have, let us know. I will put stuff out. I will never be mad at you for telling me that you can't get your stuff anymore. I understand what happens.
Well, hold on. Let me qualify that.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying if somebody comes to you and says, moving forward, I can't get my books. That's what you mean?
Yes.
If somebody
that I'll
comes
never
to
be
you,
mad at.
Okay. But if you come to us and say, hey, I haven't been in 8 weeks, I can't get those books.
That's why I want to kind of maybe have a little parenthetical on... The sooner you can let me know, the better. If it's been a few weeks and you're like, look, I thought I could handle this and I can't, I'm not mad. If a month's gone by or less, I'm not mad. Anything more than a month is like, you gotta be on top of that. I gotta know what's going on. Because now we're into a stage where these books start to be unsellable. They have spoiled, essentially, after a month. So now I'm just sitting on spoiled product that I can't do anything with. But I understand the circumstances and the kind of psychology that causes these things to happen from a customer level. People go through things financially, and the last thing they want to do is kind of admit to themselves that they can't afford these books anymore. They want a sense of normalcy, and the normalcy is I go to the comic shop and I get the books.
Or they hope things will turn around. They hope that their situation is only temporary.
I don't want to make any crazy changes where I'm missing a month's worth of books now.
Yeah, if you're a lifelong comic reader and you've been getting all these books, you don't want to suddenly not have these. And if you think things are going to pick up in a month or two, you don't want to have to worry about going back and getting the ones you missed.
Right. So there's this sort of deception, self-deception that's happening where someone is telling themselves, even though I'm not picking up these books, everything is still fine. And then it reaches a point where, oh God, I can't even show my face anymore. I can't even go in and tell them what's happened because I'm too embarrassed by this. Or people, we've seen it with other stores where someone's like, I don't like the store I go to, but I can't tell them I'm leaving. Like, you're breaking up with somebody, so you just tough out a bad relationship. And these are situations where I just want to make it clear to people, like, this is, even if we're friendly with you, this is still, at its base level, like a business relationship. If you can't afford the stuff, that's fine. It is fine to stop buying someplace if it doesn't fit in your life anymore. So a lot of the things from a consumer level, the consumer side of this $10,000 problem in Missouri is it just gets away from people and they get embarrassed. And all of a sudden as a store, if you're letting that occur, if you're not kind of being on top of it and communicating with people, then everyone's in trouble. Everyone's upset with the situation.
Dan DiDio did a Facebook Live talk today for a while, and I just happened to catch it. And we're not going to talk about it because those things are meant for retailers, not for the general public. Mm-hmm. But one of the things he did say was that people are always surprised when he admits that DC Comics is in it to make money.
Sure.
They're not just in it for the altruism of, well, you've always published comics, keep publishing them. It's like, no, this is a business. We want to make money. And that's what Challengers is as well. We want to make money.
I mean, we try to do
We
things...
joke about how little money we make, but we only joke to mask the pain because it's very little money.
Yeah.
But we love comics.
Yeah, I mean, we try to do things in the store humanely as much as we can, where if someone is having a bad time with, their financial situation and they can't get their books, all of this stuff is going to be available at some point. If you pass up a storyline in March, it's going to be in a graphic novel in October. Don't worry about it. Maybe we can find the single issues for you if you have to have it that way. Otherwise, there are ways you can get these things. None of this stuff disappears forever unless it's Batman Damn #1. Short of that, none of this stuff disappears. It's all going to be available. You can read it. You can experience it. It'll be fine. But as a store...
Yeah, but I signed up for Batman Dam today, so I want number one. I signed up for it.
I signed up for it. But as a store, we have to look out for our interests in order to keep being a store in the future, and that means having to have a conversation with someone that's... I know that you mean to pick this stuff up, and you are going to turn it around, and everything's going to be fine. All this stuff is going to get bought. But it's been 8 weeks, and you haven't picked up anything. I cannot pull a 9th week's worth of books for you.
Right.
I can't. You know, if you're going to be mad at me about that, be mad at me about that. But I would rather you be mad at me than me go out of business. And the more rope you give a lot of people in those situations, the worse it is for the store, to the degree where a customer has to start a $15,000 crowdfunding campaign because you gave people 8 months to pick up books and comics and statues and cases of action figures and all sorts of stuff where it's like, man, I have been there as a store owner. I've been there as a manager. I've been there as a comic shop employee where that person has been shopping with you for years. Sometimes for some of these stores, decades. You know their kids. You know their habits. You're friends with them on social media. They would never burn you. They will burn you. Like, we have had to put out books for people that used to work at the store. And they had gone through some stuff, and they're like, I swear to you, I'm going to make this right. And then eventually, after, God, was it like 6 months worth of stuff? And then like another, like, however many months of stopping pulling, but keeping that pulled stuff aside, that we finally had to go, we're putting it back out. This is nuts. And then saying, okay, good, I can't get it. And it's like, how long is this going to last? So, I mean, if even that can happen, we have to have these rules, and stores have to have a very, very, very small window of how long they're going to let this sort of stuff stack up before you have to be firm about it. Not mean, but firm about, like, this is going to go back up. You know, you want to come back in 3 months and everything's on the shelf, you can buy it, and then we can start over and we're all good. But in the meantime, I cannot keep ordering for you. I cannot keep sellable product aside for you. This stuff has to go back out. And anyone who is going to say this on social media or on, is yelling at their media player in their hands or yelling it to the sky when they're hearing these stories, let me assure you in no uncertain terms, taking deposits will not avoid getting burned on product. Every armchair retailer thinks that's the solution. Like, that's the magic bullet. They just thought it up. It's going to be fine. That is not the solution. It may help in some cases, but it is not going to stop you from getting burned on stuff.
And you can't not see comments in posts about retailers going through this where
my God.
People are, well, you should just do.
Yeah, just take a deposit. Very quickly, here's why taking a deposit is not the cure-all. Frequently, people who have spent months not coming into your shop and buying comics are doing it because they don't have the money, which means when you try to run their credit card number that you have, it is going to decline. You are going to get stuck with that product.
Yeah, it's that simple.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons we don't take deposits anymore, because more than half the time in the past that I've needed to drop people and I had a deposit, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, literally. And it's not even like 52%. It's considerably more than that.
Yeah, at least 50%, to the degree that, again, it's just not worth doing because it is not going to save you anything. It is not going to keep you from losing money on stuff.
If you are a fellow retailer who takes a deposit that works for you, great. It's not a thing we're interested in doing.
Yeah, I mean...
Plus, with all the data breaches and things going on, we don't want to be responsible for anything like that, even though we wouldn't be. We don't have things in a system like that. But nonetheless, we don't want to be...
Yeah,
one more link in that chain.
So for the deposit, like half the time or more, it's not going to work because the card's going to get declined. And
remember the old place used to just take a check?
Oh yeah, stapled to the
that works.
For the 50% of the time or less that it does work, there is something to be said for the mental well-being of people not having to leave a credit card number or a deposit. It is introducing the idea of a deposit, like a minimum, a sense of friction in the
Yeah,
process.
or a doubt. We're casting aspersions on your character without knowing
Yeah,
you.
it's just creating something where instead of just signing up for your service and being a part of it, they're getting worried about it. So for us, we would much rather be on top of the communication aspect of it, getting delinquents to come in and getting books picked up, than keeping all these deposits and hoping that after the 2, 3, 4 months or whatever that we run it, it actually works.
It's the same principle behind not checking bags. When somebody says, "Do you need to check my bag?" When it's you feel good saying, "No, we trust you."
Yeah.
That being said, people legitimately steal from us,
Oh, sure.
but there's also, I would feel good if someone's like, "No, I trust you."
Yeah, I mean, I have a backpack that I wear to and from work, and if I'm walking to and from work and I stop someplace, no one's asking me to leave my bag someplace.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. If I go to Target or if I go to, a bodega or a bookstore or whatever, like no one's asking you to do that other places. But
Off-track
comic
bag.
shops, it's like every comic shop is like, you have to leave your bag. Like, it's not Fort Knox. It's a comic shop.
I mean, we used to ask people at certain points when we had
A high theft for
yes,
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
but we hated doing it.
Yeah, didn't like it. So yeah, when it comes to like delinquents at a comic shop, my heart goes out to a store that needs a crowdfunder to make things right. And I don't know their situation 100%, so I don't know exactly how it got as bad as it did. But some of the numbers quoted 7-8 months worth of stuff, $10,000 worth of product. This is why stores are hounding people expressly at this time of year, but also like year round to pick up their stuff, because you just have to. You have to do it. It is part of, if we're going to keep setting stuff aside for you, it needs to get picked up on a consistent basis. And if it's not, we have to do something about that. Like, that's a step we have to take as a store for our continued survival. It's just, it's just what we have to do. I'm not sorry about it.
Nor should you be.
Yeah.
Here's the thing you definitely shouldn't be sorry about. Our patrons.
Oh, patrons.
Our Patreon patrons.
Thanks, patrons.
Patrons like Ryan Alcock, Mike Lee, Mitchell Davies, Tom Nagovin, Jose Villagomez, who was in today.
So we weren't talking about Jose Villagomez.
That's true. The Springham family, Michael Romanenko, who we were talking about in this very podcast,
True.
just unnamed.
Thank
And in positive ways, Michael.
Thank you for using your previews correctly every month, Michael. Thank you.
Artie White, George Brower, Morgan Perry, Robert Lane, Jacob Sorelli, Christina McChrystal, and Tom Shapiro. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Morgan Perry got a very nice shout-out from Brian Hibbs on his Tilting at Windmills column.
Yeah,
on the Beat.
I bookmarked that last night, but didn't get a second to read it today.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing that bugged me yesterday. I was working by myself all day because Kent was unavailable, and it's 6:50. I sit down. For the first time. Emails are stacking up. I go to the computer to check my emails. Kent walks in, and there I am sitting behind the
Hardly
computer,
working.
like I've been that way all day. And it's like, if I knew you were coming in, I could have gotten my car,
Yeah.
but I couldn't get there in 10 minutes.
No.
Yeah, but I don't want to reaffirm in his head like, oh, see, that's what I do.
Uh-huh. I'm doing it right.
Yeah, like the Dan DiDio live stream I just happened to catch because I was jumping on for something else, and I'm like, oh right, that's on right now because I got a reminder. But yeah, not a lot of sitting. I still haven't gone through previews for the month yet. I haven't had a chance to.
So I did the email to subscribers.
Yeah.
Just letting them know the catalog was up, and we've gotten some responses on that. People adding stuff.
Yep.
So one of the things I do I'll send that email out to subscribers on the Monday after the catalog is posted online, which is the Monday before previews comes out.
Yes. So this week.
Yeah. The following Monday.
The previous week from when people are listening to
Yeah,
this.
the following Monday, which is 7 days after we've sent out an email to subscribers letting them know the catalog is up and they can check it out, I'll start sending out suggestion emails.
Match twos.
Match twos is what we refer to them as internally, where we'll say something like, for example, when Die Number 1 was listed, we would send an email to Wicked and Divine subscribers saying, hey, you subscribed to Wicked and the Divine. Kieran Gillen has a new comic coming out. Here's the solicitation text. Here's the cover image. If this is something you want to see on your list, let us know. Some months, I'm sending out 30 of those emails over a 2-week period.
Right.
This month,
Yeah.
Any guesses?
8.
5.
Wow.
I could only find 5 titles where I'm like, these are things we need to tell people about, that we have a similar book that we can get an idea of who might want this. It's like nothing.
Hey.
Because it's February. There's nothing coming out in February that's brand new, for the most part.
When we stop recording, can you log in and send a match 2 about Lumberjanes Day
Yeah, sure.
to the 6 people that get Lumberjanes?
I think so, yeah. It's easy enough.
That'd be kind of you, thank you. I meant to ask you that earlier in the week.
Sure.
I just keep forgetting to.
It's not that many people.
That's why I said 6.
Yeah, it's not, I don't think it's that many right now.
Okay.
It went down by 1.
Okay. Someone dropped it or somebody...
Somebody got dropped who had it.
Yeah, okay. That was my question.
And I mean, I assume Donovan already knows about it, so that saves me
Yeah,
one.
but she has to work tomorrow. Her other job.
Right, I know,
job.
but I mean, it's...
But I mean, she generally would have come.
Sure. She
if she
should.
didn't
She's
have to
one of
work.
the 5 subscribers we have.
Yeah. I wanted to mention quickly that while we were talking about Comic Cave, the Mutiny in Chicago, up the block from us on Western, just north of Fullerton, is most likely closing.
Not a comic shop, by the way.
It's a bar. It's a
dive bar.
It's a dive bar,
It's a
but
dive
it's a wonderful dive bar, famous for bands wanted. Any band can play there.
Yep.
They will let anybody play. The guy who owns it has owned it for over 30 years, and it's a situation where he's like, "Look, I don't have the money. I owe back taxes. They're going to shut me down. I don't have the strength to fight anymore." He's been battling prostate cancer, number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, like there's just so many different places to drink now. He's losing regulars.
Yeah.
But he's a guy that his philosophy was, so long as it's not a felony, I didn't see it.
Jesus.
Like, literally, bands could bring the roof down, i.e. break the roof and tear tiles down. He thought it was great.
Sure.
Like, that was the whole aesthetic of that place.
Sure.
And Guido used to watch all the Bears games there.
That's cool.
Like, that was his hangout for football games.
Neat.
I know our good buddy Chris Mitz used to drink there all the time. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that bar meant a lot to, but he's in his late 60s now, and it's... but what I'm talking about is I appreciate this because this is a guy who said, this is 100% my fault.
Sure.
Like, I wish I could keep going. I don't have the money. The article compared the guy from Quenchers who's like, yeah, I'm tired, I just want to leave, and he sold the building, made money. This guy is not making money. Not
No.
gonna, like, and Quenchers was again one of the last standing original places.
I was
like
going to
that.
say, that's a weird block between Fullerton and Logan.
Yeah.
Because there's kind of nothing there right now.
Yeah.
It's a lot of kind of empty lots and just like houses.
Which is kind of a great place for a bar because it's not a thing that you have on every corner.
Oh, yeah.
But if you walk around the neighborhood around us, there's bars on corners you didn't even know that were there.
And I mean, I
had a date a couple years ago at the Charleston, which is a bar on Charleston. I didn't know it was there.
Mm-hmm.
How long was the store there?
Yeah.
I didn't know that Charleston was there.
I
know Floyd's, and Charleston's like 2 or 3 blocks away from Floyd's. But anyway.
Specifically for the Mutiny, I gotta wonder how much of their lost business is down to Logan Hardware.
Yeah, Logan
It's
Arcade.
right around the corner.
Yeah.
And it's very big, and it's very trendy.
Yeah, but I think that the Mutiny crowd is a different crowd. Although I just said Smith's, so that's like totally even.
Right.
Huh.
I mean, I don't know that it's that, but that can't help.
I just feel bad for a guy who's done this for 3 decades, who loved it, and now it's like, yeah, I have nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest
Cautionary
with you.
tale, Dal.
I'll be honest with you, that was what occurred to me was like, on the one hand, it's great to be able to do what you love for 30 years. On the other hand, it's horrifying to think that the finish line is just, you have no money, you own no property, you are dying of cancer.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like, it's cool that you had 30 great years, but man, you want to come out of those 30 years with something tangible. No one's asking for a winning lottery ticket, but what you are asking for is
A roof over your head.
yeah, maybe some way to survive afterwards. And Yeah, man. Like with comics retail, there's a lot of things, a lot of decisions that we're making, and a lot of the things that we're looking at in essentially the next 10 years of Challengers is less about the day-to-day survival and more about what do the next 10 years look like and what do the 10 years after that look like, not just for Challengers, but for you and me.
Well, you.
You and me.
I mean, I'll give myself 10 more years. I'm not...
You and me.
I'm not looking past that.
You and me. So these are things that yeah, I mean...
Candlelit dinners, walks on the beach, watching sunsets.
Well, I don't really go to the North Avenue Beach that much, so that's probably not going to happen. And candlelight, I don't know, it's...
That's because
we have electricity.
We'll have no power.
Yeah, I'm not going to have candles then. It's just going to be like, you know...
The light of your phone?
Like, no, because we're not phones, but we'll have like crumpled up paper in like a trash can. Like that. Hobo fire?
We're lighting hobos on fire?
I would never. I respect them too much.
Who was Tessa Thompson in Veronica Mars?
No idea. I don't remember nearly anyone from that show anymore.
I read an article where they talked about her getting her break on Veronica Mars, and I thought, I don't remember her.
I mean, maybe. Like, Veronica Mars had a lot of people on it.
Sure.
Was she the teacher?
But I mean, if
wasn't there like a computer lab teacher or something, or like the school newspaper?
How old do you think Tessa Thompson is?
I mean, maybe she's way older than I think she is.
How old is Kristen Bell?
I mean, I would assume Kristen Bell is older than Tessa Thompson.
Okay.
So that would be weird. But Kristen Bell wasn't a teenager when she was on Veronica Mars. You know what I mean?
Sure. Is anybody?
Do you know how old the young daughter of
on The Flash? Yes.
Of Barry and Iris is?
Yes. Coincidentally, she's the same age as Tessa Thompson.
Yes. And she's playing like basically someone who's supposed to be in their
17,
late teens, early 20s. I mean,
yeah,
I think
she's
she pulls
older
it
than
off,
her parents.
but she's an adult woman. That is an adult woman.
She is older than the other actors, save for Sherlock
Speaking
and
of
Joe West. She is older than everyone else, and Cecile.
Speaking of shows from the UPN days, did you hear that Buffy and Angel and Firefly are all on Facebook now?
I heard something in that regard, but
Facebook Watch.
I
know you have Hulu, but I'm just saying, like, I thought it was interesting that those entire shows are now on Facebook.
I did see Boom sent an email with Dan Mora's character sketches for the new Buffy book. Mm-hmm. They're all very good.
Yeah, the cover designs have been interesting to me as far as like how the characters are dressed and sort of how they're portraying
modernized clothing, but everybody looks spot on. Except Xander dresses the exact same.
Yeah. The way I've been describing that book to people, because I don't know that people 100% got what Boom's doing with it, and I haven't read the first issue, so I could be way off base on this. But the way it's been pitched and the way that the solicitations and covers have portrayed it, it's basically like what J.J. Abrams did with Star Trek. Where there's a cast of characters and there's kind of a core concept, but everything that spins off from that is completely different. Like they've got some stuff written for, I think it's issue 2 or 3, where it looks like they're going a very different direction with like Darla and Spike, Drusilla and Spike.
Yeah.
So, people who are expecting this to be like, oh, these are stories set during like season 1 or something. That's not what they're doing. They're also not doing like, oh, this is a different season 8. Like, no. Like all of this is.
It's high school era, but modern. They're in high school
3
now.
Era, but yeah, it's smartphones and Snapchat, but also it's not just Buffy season 1, but their cell phones. It's Buffy season 1 and their cell phones, and maybe the characters are not doing the same things that you think they're going to do. Their origins might be different, or they might go in a different direction, or heroes might be villains, or etc., or vice versa, or whatever. So just expecting all those things to kind of line up in the same way, I don't think that's what they're doing, and I think that makes it maybe a little bit more exciting. And I don't know if that was communicated maybe as well as it could have been. A lot of the early stuff seemed very Buffy, but with cell phones. And that's not, to me as a reader, and someone who's seen every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and read a lot of the comics, Buffy with cell phones is not that appealing a prospect to me.
Sure.
But, J.J. Abrams' Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the Kelvin timeline, would be something I would be more interested in.
The episodes of Buffy that I watched this week, because I'm rewatching it, and Angel, as I work out in the morning.
And I was stunned, gobsmacked to find out that you had not seen season 2 at all?
Well, for example, this was the Xander Love Potion episode today. I've seen that one.
Okay, it's a fun episode.
I also saw when Rick and Morty redid it.
Do you know
with Morty?
Do you know why that episode turned Buffy into a rat?
No.
That week, Sarah Michelle Gellar was hosting Saturday Night Live, so they needed a script where she was not in it for 80% of it.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's
I mean,
why she spends
obviously,
80% of the episode as a rat.
It's a foreshadowing to when Amy becomes a rat.
And,
I know
and
that.
The only scenes I think she's in are set in the library. So they basically did all of her scenes in like one day,
Yeah.
and then she had to go to New York.
That's very accommodating of them.
Well, it was a huge deal, I think, for her to be on Saturday Night Live because it brought a lot of attention to
The show.
the show. In season 2,
There's
you
also a
desperately
scene where
need that.
she was in the basement.
Yes, that's
Also, I don't know if you know this, Oz is a werewolf.
No, shut your face.
So, I knew Oz was a werewolf. I didn't realize we found out, like, immediately, but they never explain it.
It's the hyena episode, isn't it?
No?
No. I think that's the origin of the werewolf thing. Is there was one of the first Oz episodes is the hyena episode.
Yeah.
I want to say they established that's how he got it.
Okay, because he had talked about Big Burly Larry, who comes out as gay that episode, got bit by a dog, so we all assume it's him.
Mhm.
And Oz is like, yeah, I got bit by my nephew. He just got teeth in. I know what you mean. And he had a little cut on his finger. And then when Oz finds out that he's a werewolf, he calls his sister and is like, hey, have you had any trouble with little Billy? He does. How long has this been going on? Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. So,
And that's it.
Huh.
Like, they don't explain that.
Weird.
So it makes it sound like, oh yeah, he got bit by this little kid who's a werewolf.
So it's just Teen Wolf then? Because isn't that Teen Wolf? Like the whole family's just werewolves?
Yeah.
The
hyena episode, I don't remember Oz being in, but I remember the hyena, because it's a field trip to the zoo.
There was like a house party or something, I thought, and there was like some sort of werewolf thing in that.
Okay.
But maybe I'm misremembering it. It's been a long time
Yeah,
since I
I
saw
want to
those
say the
episodes.
hyena episode was last season, and Oz wasn't in last season. Watching them all in a row, it's hard to remember.
Sure.
But I'm pretty sure the hyena one was...
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm sure people know. It doesn't matter.
I'm
that
sure
much.
some hardcore. Go on Facebook.
You know what? I legit had a. Oh, here it is. All right. So this is unrelated to the store, and we're already well into our time limit for today.
Happy 400th episode.
But I wanted to talk about
Oversized special, $8.
Right. I wanted to talk about a brief experience at a concert I had this week,
Okay.
and I went and saw guitar player Nita Strauss at Wire in Berwyn. And Nita Strauss was Alex Cooper's guitar player for a while, and she's done a lot of work with NXT recently.
Okay.
And she did the theme song for Evolution with Lizzie Hale.
Was it one of the 7 theme songs for Evolution?
Evolution, I think, had only a very small handful because, women.
They got 72% of the amount of theme songs
That is correct, that they get.
that a male
But
fronted pay-per-view would
she's
get.
got a song called Mariana Trench that they use in NXT. She's an instrumental guitarist, and she has a solo album out that she produced and kickstarted, and she was playing in Berwyn. And I know that her boyfriend is her drummer, and he's a big muscle-bound guy. And I just found out he's her manager as well. Every time there's photos of them up on like Blabbermouth or 411,
What is Blabbermouth?
that's a metal website.
Okay.
It's a real good one.
Okay.
The dude is always wearing Beverly Kills t-shirts. Now, Beverly Kills is a brand. It's not a brand. It's a lifestyle.
That's a brand.
Is their quota.
That's a brand.
Is their quote. And it's the Beverly Hills logo with a K scribbled over the H. And they've got,
I believe it's pronounced Beverly Cahills.
like Michael Cahill.
Yeah.
Mikhail Cahill. And they've got a shirt that says Ego Kills Talent. But at this show, the drummer was wearing a shirt that said, Stop Getting Offended. And I got offended.
Yeah, so this is maybe a thing that people need to realize in 2018 and 2019. When you say something offensive, it's not up to you whether or not it's offensive. It's up to the person being offended.
Now,
If they're being offended, if they're offended, you said something offensive.
Now, it really pulled me out of the show, but I wanted to think, like, maybe I don't know the full story. after I got home, I researched it, and I thought maybe, like, the point of it is stop getting offended, start taking action.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Nope.
The whole write-up of the shirt is just be like, hey, don't be a baby.
Uh-huh.
And I'm starting to think that this might be their, or at least his, company, because he's always wearing Beverly Hills stuff, and Nita Strauss is on that website a lot. Like, there's photos of her in their shirts often.
I mean, even if it's not his or their company, he clearly supports it.
Yeah. And it, honest to God, bothered me.
Sure. I can understand
And I'm just curious if anybody who's listening would have been as bothered, or just thinks, who cares, it's a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And she did do a little meet and greet thing afterwards that I missed because I left. Like, I watched her full set, but then she said she was gonna come back out after Angel Valentino, Angel Vivaldi. Sorry, his name is Angel Vivaldi. He was a lot of fun. At the end of his set, they all jammed together, and she did come out and sign stuff after that with her boyfriend right there as her bodyguard and police in the line. And I'm glad I didn't stay because I wouldn't want to have been that close to him if he was still in that shirt.
Yeah, it would have been weird, probably.
I mean, I bought her CD at the show. I figured I'd wait and buy it there because I knew it was going. But anyway, it doesn't make me not like her music. Also, she has the exact same voice as Cameron Diaz.
Huh.
Same inflection, same speaking voice. It's very
interesting.
It's the same way that the girl who plays Sabrina sounds like Lena Dunham to me.
Okay.
It's the same kind of thing that I can't help but hear a different person, and that takes me away from what's happening.
Sure.
It's hard to listen to Nita Strauss interviews because I'm not seeing her.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it was a genuinely thing. Like, it bothered me enough that I talked to you all about it on Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. Like, in situations like that, we're trying to enjoy something, and then there's this one thing where it's like, wait, I don't know if I should be enjoying this now. I don't know if my enjoyment is supporting something that I don't want to support, even tangentially. Yeah, I would not blame you for feeling conflicted about that. Certainly, again, not enough to say, like, I'm never listening to her music, but enough to say, I am aware of my feelings about this.
Yeah.
Real quick, because this is already a double-sized anniversary episode that's costing people now $10 for this because it's gotten so big and has so much extra content. Plus, all of the previous 399 cover images are going to be at the end of this episode.
Okay. But we're just describing them because this is oral.
Yeah.
AURAL. That means you're going to hear it.
Did you see the Diamond list of holiday week
Yes,
products?
I did want to talk about this. I forgot about it.
Let's talk about that. So, people who don't know this, it's worth pointing out that
over the week between Christmas and New Year's is always a very tricky one in comics retail because in the past they do things differently every year. As in, some weeks it's a skip week. There's no new books. Some weeks they send you the books early ahead of time. Some weeks it's a full normal week.
Yeah, it usually depends on kind of where Christmas and New Year's land. This year they landed in absolutely the worst spot possible for distributing comics to comic shops. They're both on a Tuesday.
Which is the day we pick up books.
Right. And
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Not Monday.
So, for example, for Christmas week, that means Monday, Christmas Eve, and Tuesday is Christmas Day. So the ability for things to get delivered to stores or stores to be able to go to different places and pick stuff up like we do is going to be incredibly limited. So for what Diamond is doing this year, because of the way things lay out, is that the December 26th new release day will basically be a skip week. Product for that week will be sent to stores with their December 19th product, but that skip week stuff will not go on sale until the 26th. And this was something that was brought up to retailers months ago. Diamond was well aware, looking at the calendar, of where things were going to land, and that it was not going to be a full week's worth of product, but Premier Publishers were going to work with Diamond to make sure that there was product for that week, so it would not just be nothing. I am going to very quickly try and bring up...
Well, I can tell you, off the top of my head, I can tell you a bunch of it.
Sure.
Do you want me to go down in order, or like alphabetical order?
No, you can... I'm just going to go to Diamond real quick.
Because starting with Boom Studios,
They
have
Parish.
an issue of Bone Parish.
Issue 5.
And the first Bone Parish collection, which is 1 through 4.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then Dark Horse.
I go here.
Dark Horse Comics has one single book. And then DC Comics has no comics, but a handful of collections.
4 graphic novels, and looking at it, I'm like, 2 of these I don't even think we carried. Yeah, okay, so Boom Studios, Bone Parish, 5, both covers, and the Volume 1
I
trade.
didn't say both covers, because we're not getting both covers.
No. Even though the second one is a Tyler Kirk cover.
Yeah.
Dark Horse, Hellboy and the BPRD, issue 2. Hellboy and the BPRD, 1956, issue 2.
Which, by the way, did better for us than I expected, and we had some extra club sign-ups to that this week.
We'll have to make sure that we get copies, even though I think FOC is probably closed for this stuff already. Yeah, DC is Batman Beyond, Volume 4, Green Arrow, War of the Clans Essential Edition.
No.
Nightwing Volume 7, and the Superman Rebirth Deluxe Collector's Hardcover Book 3, which we definitely don't order. Dynamite is Mars Attacks number 3.
Okay.
Which I think we might not be carrying by issue 3 because no one bought issue 2.
Which is weird, because we did well at number 1.
Yeah, enough that we ordered issue 2, and then no one bought it. IDW is 2 comic books. It's GoBots number 2.
Which, yes, we'll carry.
And Marvel Action Avengers number 1.
Which, number 1, okay.
Sure. Image is 2 books. Die number 6.
Okay.
And Maneaters number 4, both covers.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Die. I wish it was Die number 2 instead of Die number 6. And then the only other premier publisher who is participating, I guess this is every premier publisher, right?
Every publisher.
Well, no, I was going to say, like, the premier publishers, so it's Boom, Dark Horse, DC, Dynamite, IDW, and Marvel. That's an Image. That's all the premier publishers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Marvel, honestly, above and beyond, and I'm very grateful for them for doing Fantastic Four number 5, which is an $8 book.
The Wedding Special.
Yeah, which comes in a billion covers.
I'm sorry. I said Wedding Special. They're actually doing a Wedding Special in which there is no wedding. This is the wedding issue.
Yeah. And before I go on, I do want to bring up one thing that I thought was hilarious. Marvel, in a retailer email on Thursday, had to point out to retailers that the X-Men, the Exterminated number 1 that's coming out, will not ruin anything in Extermination number 5, which is a funny thing to have to put because X-Men the Exterminated number 1 is the epilogue issue for Extermination number 5, but it's coming out 2 weeks before the thing it's the epilogue to.
Yep.
And how great is it to know that the epilogue does not contain any content that would be a spoiler. Like,
right.
If you bought issue 5 and then we're like, I can't wait to see what happens next, and then the issue that comes out doesn't deal with anything that happens in issue 5, wouldn't you feel ripped off? Wouldn't you feel a little burned by that?
By the time Extermination ends, there will have been 9 issues of the next storyline series in Uncanny.
Which they're not even bothering to hide the fact of Cyclops comes back.
Yeah.
Because they're doing like post Cyclops comes back stuff, so enjoy. Anyway, the good things that Marvel does. Fantastic Four number 5, which is the wedding issue. It's an $8 book. Superior Spider-Man number 1, which is getting more people adding it than I would have expected.
I'm excited for that book. I even that one shot that...
You liked it?
The
Superior
time,
Octopus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uncanny X-Men number 7, still weekly. And X-Force number 1. Again, all of these have like anywhere between like between 2 and like 12 covers.
Well, not for us.
I'm just saying in general. So like the Marvel section of this list looks gigantic, but it's really just 4 comics. But 2 number 1s, an $8 Fantastic Four book, and a new issue of an X-Men comic. I mean, that's
something.
It's a solid lineup. I was shocked when I read the catalog 2 months ago to find out that DC was doing nothing comic-wise for Skip Week. I'm like, that's the perfect week for Heroes in Crisis, or Doomsday Clock, or a Batman annual, or something that's going to be exciting to fans and get them to come to the store. And DC's like, I can't be bothered. Like, Dynamite could figure something out, and DC Comics, the number 2 publisher in the industry, was like,
I mean, this isn't even a 5th week. They could have put in some Hanna-Barbera specials or something.
Yeah. So as a result of that, a billion things that would normally come out the 4th week of a month are coming out the first week of January.
Yeah.
Like, so January, even though it has 5 Wednesdays, I think, the first Wednesdays DC is treating as the 4th Wednesday of December. So they won't have one of those like last week of the month is a bunch of annuals and stuff because they don't need to.
But isn't it also the first week of the month for them as well? So they're doubling up?
I don't know.
And-
I don't know if they are or not. I don't
And
know.
we're getting billed for all the other product on that day?
Yeah, but all the other product honestly isn't that much. Like, we don't get billed for the December 26th stuff. We get it on the 19th of December. We get billed for it on January 2nd. But, I mean, that list. We just went over that list.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's, I mean, Fantastic Four, sure. And X-Force, sure. And Uncanny X-Men, sure.
Let's hope that's also Shy-Tag week to just really add insult
There
to
you go.
injury. Start off the week with a giant.
Oh, boo.
Boo.
Yeah, I was a little surprised at that list. Grateful to the publishers that are putting stuff together for it. Just creating some reason for people to come to stores on the 26th. Beyond just, I didn't pick my stuff up last week because of holiday craziness or whatever. So yeah, hopefully that'll help a lot of stores out the last week of the month. And the last week of the year.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
We'll wait and see together.
Yeah.
We hope your holiday season is getting off on the right foot. Welcome to December, and thanks for listening.
And keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.